My husband was diagnosed with lung cancer in January of 2014, and he passed away 10 months later. And we were really lucky with our health insurance and with our medical background, he was a cardiologist, that I was able to care for him in our house. And I made a promise to him that he was going to die at home in peace, surrounded by people he loved. He really did not want to die in a hospital. We didn't know too much about hospice. That's not something that you focus on when you're young. And I did not have anyone in my family who used it, and he did not either. We used the Norwell VNA, and they were just absolutely wonderful. And they were able to come to the house, and he was able to still work and still be surrounded by me and his son, and my daughter was in college, she would come visit, and people would come and sit and talk to him. And it was great. And then when he had to go on hospice care, the transition from the VNA into the hospice services was so smooth. We just had some different nurses, more equipment. Anything we needed was there for us. He was on hospice for 3 days. And you know, it was almost like I had a party just about, because we invited anyone and everyone who wanted to come and say goodbye to him to come to the house. We had people coming and going all hours of the day. We had a TV on, his Patriots were playing, and it was great. It really was. He died. He had a good death. With all of his diagnosis and all his tests, I knew what was going to happen. I knew he didn't have long to live. He presented with brain mets as well. So he did not want to give up. He did everything he could, every chemo, every radiation, experimental drugs. He was fighting, and he fought until he couldn't fight anymore. And it was his doctor who said, I can't do any more for you. You need to go home, and you need to be with your family, and you need to just, live out your life with no pain and no meds and, none of this, not being on the gerbil wheel anymore. Just go and be home with people. And once he was told that was it. Then he knew that there was nothing else. And then he stopped fighting, and he just let it go. And he had a hard time with that in the weeks before that. I think he knew that nothing was working and that his time was short, but he was in turmoil with it. He didn't know what the afterlife would bring. He didn't know how he would die. He worried he was going to suffer. And we had Sarah Clancy, who's the chaplain for the VNA, come in and talk to him. And she talked to him on a regular basis and answered his questions and gave him peace of mind, what his serenity would be. And she helped him with that. And that was one of the greatest gifts. Yeah. He passed during a nor'easter. It was horrible, the weather, blowing and windy, and we lived near the water, and it was just unbelievable and cold, and it was November 2nd. And he passed around 12:30, and at 2 o'clock, the sun broke through. It was through these dark clouds, and the sun, it came right into the room. It was amazing, and everyone said that he gave us a sign that he made it through. I have great friends. I have incredible friends who, looked after us, made sure that we were busy or not. And I'm also a pretty strong-willed person, and I have to keep moving. I'm a trainer as my job, so, my job is to motivate people. I always, I don't focus too much on myself. I think, I'm not one to just sit around. I have to keep moving. And so my job actually helped me recover. I was with a lot of people all the time. My son was applying to colleges, and I had to keep moving for him. My daughter was in college. My sister came to live with us, and she still lives with us. And that was a big help. Nice little distraction of someone else in the house. And I read a lot. I read about grief. I read about losing your spouse. So I knew what I was feeling was normal. I knew the signs sort of what to watch out for with depression. And I just kept moving, and I had a year, and a year after he died, I decided this year's going to be a year of yes. And so as I got invited to do things and try things, I said, why not? You know, it was a different time for me. I had to write a new chapter of my life. There was a new normal. Things weren't going to be the same.